My name is Rebecca, and I'm 34 years old. I've been married to Daniel for 6 years, and we live in a comfortable townhouse in Portland, Oregon. Daniel works as a senior project manager at a tech consulting firm, while I run a small interior design business from home. We've built what I thought was a solid life together. 2 careers we're proud of, a circle of good friends, and plans to start a family soon. It was a Thursday evening in late September when everything started to unravel. The Portland rain had been falling steadily all day, creating that familiar rhythmic pattern against our windows that usually makes me feel cozy and safe. I was in our home office, finishing up some fabric swatches for a client's living room renovation, when Daniel called me around 5:30. "Hey, sweetheart," he said, and I could hear street noise in the background. "I hope you haven't started dinner yet. Something came up." I set down my color samples and leaned back in my chair. "What's going on? Remember I mentioned that our company might be partnering with that marketing firm from Seattle? Well, their director is in town unexpectedly, and my boss suggested we take her out to dinner tonight. It's kind of important for the deal. Would you mind joining us? I know it's last minute, but it would mean a lot to have you there." I glanced at the clock. It was short notice, but Daniel rarely asked me to attend his work dinners. "Sure, honey. Where and when?" "That new Italian place downtown, Bella Notte. The one that just got reviewed in the Oregonian. Reservations at 7:30. I'll come home and pick you up at 7? Perfect. I'll be ready." After hanging up, I quickly tidied up my workspace and headed upstairs to change. I chose a burgundy wrap dress that Daniel always said brought out the amber flecks in my brown eyes, paired with black heels and simple gold jewelry. As I applied my makeup, I thought about how proud I was of Daniel's career success. Daniel arrived home right at 7, looking handsome in his charcoal suit. He kissed my cheek quickly, and I noticed he seemed slightly nervous, adjusting his tie multiple times as we drove downtown. The rain had lessened to a drizzle, and the city lights reflected beautifully off the wet streets. "You okay?" I asked, touching his arm. "You seem tense." "Just want this dinner to go well," he said, keeping his eyes on the road. "This partnership could be huge for the company." We arrived at Bella Notte a few minutes early. The restaurant was exactly as elegant as I'd imagined. Exposed brick walls adorned with vintage Italian posters, warm amber lighting from wrought iron fixtures, and tables dressed in crisp white linens. A jazz pianist played softly in the corner. Daniel checked his phone repeatedly, and I ordered us both a glass of wine while we waited. At 7:35, a woman walked through the entrance, and I felt Daniel stiffen beside me. She was tall and striking, with platinum blonde hair falling in perfect waves past her shoulders, wearing a sleek black dress that probably cost more than my entire outfit. "That's her," Daniel said quietly, raising his hand to catch her attention. As she approached our table, her red lips curved into a smile that seemed to widen when she locked eyes with Daniel. Something about the way she looked at my husband made my stomach tighten. "Daniel!" she exclaimed, and to my surprise, she leaned in and kissed him on both cheeks in a way that seemed far too familiar for a professional acquaintance. "It's been absolutely forever. Amanda, great to see you," Daniel said. And was it my imagination, or did his voice sound slightly strained? "This is my wife, Rebecca. Rebecca, this is Amanda Sterling, Director of Sterling & Associates Marketing." Amanda turned to me, extending a perfectly manicured hand. Her handshake was firm, almost competitive. "Rebecca, lovely to meet you. Daniel has told me absolutely nothing about you." She laughed as if this was charming rather than odd. We all sat down, and I immediately noticed something that made my chest constrict. Daniel had pulled out Amanda's chair for her, something he used to do for me when we first started dating but hadn't done in months. "So, Amanda, you're from Seattle?" I asked, trying to establish some normalcy in the conversation. "Originally from LA, actually. I moved to Seattle about 3 years ago when I started my firm." She picked up the wine list, barely glancing at me as she spoke. "The Pacific Northwest has been wonderful for business." Our server arrived, and Amanda ordered a bottle of expensive Chianti without consulting either of us. Daniel didn't object, which surprised me since he usually discussed such things with me. As we looked over the menus, Amanda launched into stories about her company's successes, her recent trip to Milan for a marketing conference, and her thoughts on the Portland business scene. I tried to contribute to the conversation, but she had a way of redirecting every topic back to herself or to inside jokes with Daniel. "Remember that disaster of a presentation in Chicago?" Amanda said, laughing as she touched Daniel's arm. "God, we were up until 3 in the morning fixing those slides." Daniel chuckled, but his laugh sounded uncomfortable. That was a long time ago. Chicago? I asked, trying to piece together what I was hearing. When were you in Chicago together? There was a brief, loaded silence. Amanda's eyes flickered between Daniel and me with something that looked almost like amusement. Oh, Daniel didn't mention? We used to work together. About 7 years ago, before you two met, I assume. 7 years ago. Daniel and I had been dating for a year at that point. My throat felt tight. We were both at Morrison and Fletcher, Daniel added quickly. Different departments, but we collaborated on some projects. Throughout dinner, Amanda dominated the conversation. She asked Daniel detailed questions about his current projects, laughing at his responses as if everything he said was fascinating. She barely acknowledged my presence, except to occasionally throw me a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. When our entrees arrived, she launched into a story about a company retreat they'd attended together. The team-building exercises were absolutely ridiculous, she said, swirling her wine. Remember the trust fall activity, Danny? Danny. My husband hated being called Danny. He'd told me that explicitly when we first met, yet here he was, not correcting her. You caught me, and I caught you, Amanda continued, her voice taking on a nostalgic tone. We always had each other's backs. I set down my fork, no longer hungry. Daniel must have sensed my discomfort because he finally looked at me, really looked at me, and I saw guilt flash across his face. As our server cleared the dinner plates, Amanda excused herself to use the restroom. The moment she was out of earshot, I turned to Daniel. Why didn't you tell me you knew her? I kept my voice low, but couldn't hide the hurt. You made it sound like she was just some business contact. Daniel shifted uncomfortably in his seat. I didn't think it mattered. It was years ago, Rebecca. We were just colleagues. Colleagues who apparently went on retreats together and worked late into the night? Colleagues who call you Danny? She's always called me that. It doesn't mean anything. He reached for my hand across the table, but I pulled away. Look, I'm sorry I didn't mention it. I honestly didn't think about it. It's ancient history. Is it? I asked, because the way she's been looking at you all night doesn't feel like ancient history. Before Daniel could respond, Amanda returned, her phone in her hand. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick call from my assistant. She slid back into her seat with that same confident smile. The server appeared with the dessert menu, but I shook my head. None for me, thank you. Oh, come on, Rebecca, Amanda said. Their tiramisu is supposed to be divine. We should celebrate. Danny, should we get a bottle of Prosecco? Celebrate what? I asked, perhaps more sharply than I intended. Amanda's smile widened. The potential partnership, of course, and old friendships renewed. Daniel looked uncomfortable but signaled the server anyway. When the Prosecco arrived, Amanda insisted on pouring for all of us. She filled 3 flutes with the sparkling wine, the bubbles rising in the low light. Then she did something that made my blood run cold. Amanda raised her glass and looked directly at Daniel, her expression softening into something intimate, something that excluded me entirely. To Daniel, she said, her voice taking on a warmth that felt far too personal. To the man who taught me that excellence isn't just about working hard, but about working smart. To someone who made those long nights at the office feel like the best moments of my career. She paused, her eyes locked on his, and to what we built together back then. Some partnerships you just never forget. The restaurant seemed to fade away. I sat frozen, watching my husband's face as his ex-colleague, or was she something more, toasted him as if I didn't exist. Daniel's face flushed red. Amanda, I don't think... Come on, don't be modest, she interrupted, still holding her glass high. You were brilliant then, and you're brilliant now. Here's to rekindling that magic. The word rekindling hung in the air like smoke. I felt like I couldn't breathe. To old times, Amanda added, finally acknowledging my presence with a quick glance and a smile that felt like a challenge. I didn't raise my glass. I couldn't. My hands were clenched in my lap, nails digging into my palms. Daniel noticed and reached over to touch my arm, but I moved away. Rebecca, he said softly. Amanda seemed to notice the tension for the first time. Oh, I hope I haven't made things awkward. I tend to get sentimental about the good old days. It's fine, I said, though my voice sounded distant, even to my own ears. I'm just not feeling well suddenly. I just need some air. I walked toward the restroom, my heels clicking on the hardwood floor. Once inside, I locked myself in a stall and pressed my hands against my face. I wasn't going to cry here. After a few minutes, I composed myself, fixed my lipstick, and returned to the table. Daniel and Amanda were talking quietly when I arrived, and they stopped abruptly when they saw me. "Feeling better?" Amanda asked. "Much better," I lied. "Actually, I think we should probably head out soon. Early morning tomorrow." Daniel nodded quickly. "Of course. Amanda, thank you for making time tonight." "Before you go," Amanda said, pulling a business card from her designer clutch. "Here's my direct line, Danny. Call me tomorrow and we can hash out the details." She slid the card across the table to him, her fingers lingering on it. Daniel pocketed the card without looking at it. "I'll have my assistant reach out." "Your assistant?" Amanda's eyebrow arched. "Since when do you need a middleman for simple phone calls?" "Things change," I said, finding my voice. "Professionalism becomes more important. Boundaries matter." Amanda's eyes met mine, and for the first time all evening, I saw a flicker of respect in them. The server brought the check, placing it in the center of the table. Daniel reached for his wallet, but I was faster. I grabbed the leather folder and opened it. $273.42. An idea formed in my mind. It was petty, maybe, but something about this whole evening had lit a fire in me. "Let me get this," I said sweetly. Daniel looked surprised. "Are you sure? It's a business dinner. I can expense it." "No, I insist." I opened my wallet and pulled out Daniel's business credit card, the one he'd given me for emergencies. The one that went directly to his company's accounting department with an itemized receipt. I placed the card in the folder and handed it to the server. Daniel's eyes widened slightly as he realized what I'd done. "That's very generous of you, Rebecca," Amanda said. "Well, it is a business dinner, isn't it?" I said pointedly. "Daniel's business, so it should be on his business card. And when the expense report goes through, there will be a clear record of exactly who was here tonight, what was ordered, and what was discussed. Full transparency." Daniel's face went pale. He understood. The itemized receipt would show Amanda's name, the expensive wine, the Prosecco. It would all be documented, requiring an explanation. The server returned with the receipt for signature. I signed it with a flourish. "All set," I announced cheerfully. "Shall we go?" The drive home was silent, except for the whoosh of car tires on wet pavement. When we pulled into our driveway, Daniel turned off the engine, but made no move to get out of the car. "I know you're angry," he finally said. I turned to look at him. Angry doesn't even begin to cover what I'm feeling right now. "Rebecca, please, let me explain." "Explain what, exactly?" "That you forgot to mention you had this significant working relationship with a woman who clearly still has feelings for you?" Daniel ran his hands through his hair. "Amanda and we did work together, but it was complicated." My heart sank. "Complicated how?" "We dated, briefly, about 7 years ago, right before I met you." The words came out in a rush. It was intense but short-lived. 3 months, maybe 4. We broke up because she got offered a position in San Francisco and wanted me to move with her. I chose to stay in Portland. I felt like the air had been knocked out of my lungs. "So she's not just a colleague, she's your ex-girlfriend." "Was, past tense, ancient history." "Then why lie about it? Why not tell me when you called that your ex-girlfriend was in town?" Daniel's eyes were pleading. "Because I knew you'd react exactly like this. I knew you'd be uncomfortable with it. It was supposed to be a quick dinner, a professional courtesy. I never expected her to be so familiar." "Familiar? Daniel, she toasted you like you were the love of her life. How am I supposed to interpret that?" "I don't have feelings for her anymore, Rebecca. I love you. I chose you. I married you." He reached for my hand. "Amanda showing up doesn't change that." "But you let her disrespect our marriage," I said quietly. "You didn't protect what we have." Daniel's shoulders sagged. "You're right. I should have set clearer boundaries. I'm sorry, Rebecca." We sat in silence for a moment. "Did you know she'd be the one from the marketing firm?" I asked. He hesitated. "I found out this morning. My boss mentioned Sterling and Associates and the director's name, and I realized it was her. But by then, the dinner was already scheduled. I thought I could handle it professionally." "So you knew all day and you didn't tell me?" "I was going to. I just didn't know how." I opened the car door. "I need some space tonight. I'm sleeping in the guest room." "Rebecca, I'm not leaving you, Daniel. I just need time to process this." Inside, I went directly upstairs to the guest bedroom. I changed into my pajamas and grabbed my phone. I searched for Amanda Sterling online. Her LinkedIn profile came up first, along with her personal Instagram account. My breath caught as I scrolled through her posts. From 3 weeks ago, a photo of a newspaper article about Portland's tech boom. The caption read, "Interesting opportunities in Portland. Time to reconnect with old colleagues." 3 weeks ago. This wasn't spontaneous. She'd been planning this. I kept scrolling. 6 months ago, a wedding photo with a caption about how some people let the right person walk away. Further back, melancholic posts about paths not taken. And then, 2 years ago, a photo of the Portland skyline with the caption, "The city where I left my heart. Second chances." My stomach churned. This woman had been holding on to something for years, and now she'd engineered an opportunity to come back into Daniel's life. I took screenshots and sent them to my best friend, Maya. She called immediately. "Are you kidding me?" Maya's voice was indignant. "This woman came back for him?" "It looks that way." And Daniel knew who she was all day. "Huh, what are you going to do?" "I don't know. I believe Daniel doesn't have feelings for her, but clearly, she has feelings for him." I paused, and he wasn't honest with me. That's what really hurts. We talked for another half hour. Around 1 in the morning, I heard footsteps, a gentle knock on the door. "Rebecca, are you awake?" Daniel's voice was tentative. "Yes." He sat on the edge of the bed. "I can't sleep. I can't stand knowing you're upset." "I'm more than upset, Daniel. I've been lying awake thinking about how badly I handled everything." "I found her Instagram," I said quietly. "She's been posting about Portland for years, about regrets and second chances. She came here for you." I showed him the screenshots. His expression changed as he read through them. Confusion, then realization, then anger. "I had no idea," he whispered. "Rebecca, you have to believe me. I thought this was just about business, that maybe you chose wrong," I said quietly. Daniel moved closer. "I didn't choose wrong. I chose exactly right. Amanda is part of my past, but you're my present and my future. Please believe that." Morning came too quickly. When I woke up, Daniel was gone, but then I smelled coffee brewing downstairs. I found him in the kitchen, still in his pajamas, making pancakes. "Morning," he said softly. "I called in sick. I thought we needed today to talk." Over the next hour, he laid it all out. He and Amanda had met at Morrison and Fletcher during a major project. Their connection had been immediate and intense. When they'd started dating, it had felt natural. But Amanda was ambitious to a fault. When she'd gotten the San Francisco offer, she'd given him an ultimatum: come with her, or they were done. I wasn't ready to uproot my life for someone I'd only been dating for a few months, Daniel explained. I wasn't sure our relationship was built on anything real beyond work chemistry. He'd chosen to stay. Amanda had left, hurt and angry. They'd had no contact since, until 3 weeks ago. "I should have told my boss no immediately," Daniel said. "I should have disclosed our history, but I thought I could handle it professionally." "Did she know I'd be there last night?" Daniel shook his head. "I didn't tell her until we were at the restaurant. I think she was genuinely surprised." "Have you ever regretted choosing to stay?" I asked. Daniel didn't answer immediately. "In the beginning, maybe. But then I met you 2 months later and everything changed. You weren't like Amanda. With you, I could just be me. I knew within a month that you were who I wanted to build a life with." "Then why didn't you ever tell me about her?" "Because by the time our relationship got serious, Amanda felt like such a small part of my past. I see now that was wrong. You deserved to know." "What happens now with the partnership?" "I'm going to call my boss and explain the situation. I'll tell him Amanda and I have history, and that someone else should handle this deal." "Won't that hurt your career?" Daniel shrugged. "Maybe, but I'm not going to sacrifice our marriage for a business deal." I felt something loosen in my chest. Later, I listened as Daniel called his boss, Greg. He explained clearly. He had personal history with Amanda Sterling that he'd failed to disclose, and he thought another project manager should take over. Greg wasn't happy, but appreciated Daniel's honesty and agreed to assign the project to Marcus. Then Daniel composed an email to Amanda. It was formal and clear, introducing her to Marcus and wishing her well. He hit send, and we both felt the weight of it. We were drawing a line, protecting what we'd built together. Daniel and I spent the rest of the day together. We walked in our neighborhood despite the rain. We talked about our marriage, our communication, our plans for the future. "I want us to go to counseling," Daniel said. "I think we could benefit from better communication tools." I agreed. The Amanda situation had exposed cracks that needed attention. That evening, Maya came over. I filled her in on everything. "I'm proud of you," Maya said. "You took action. You stood up for your marriage." "I'm proud of him too," I admitted. He was honest, even when it was hard. He took responsibility. About a week later, Marcus told Daniel that Amanda had been cold but professional in their initial call. The deal would happen regardless of Daniel's involvement. The following month, Daniel surprised me with plane tickets to Hawaii. We spent 5 days reconnecting, remembering why we chose each other. When we returned, we started couples counseling. Dr. Chen helped us develop better communication strategies and navigate difficult situations. 3 months after that dinner, my phone rang with a Seattle number. I answered. "Rebecca? This is Amanda. I wanted to apologize. I was inappropriate that night. I came to Portland with expectations that weren't fair. I disrespected your marriage." She paused. I'd built up our relationship in my head into something it never was. "I'm seeing a therapist now," Amanda continued, "working through why I chased the past instead of building something real in the present. I wanted you to know the partnership is going well with Marcus, and I won't be contacting Daniel again. Thank you for calling," I said carefully. "You have a good man, Rebecca." "I do. I really do." After we hung up, I went to Daniel and told him about the conversation. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Yeah. It felt like closure. We can really move forward now." Daniel kissed the top of my head. "No ghosts. Just us." And that's exactly what we built. We continued counseling. We implemented date nights and honest conversations. I grew my business. Daniel got his promotion. We traveled together. 2 years after that fateful dinner, we welcomed our daughter, Sophie. As I held her in the hospital, with Daniel beside me in tears, I thought about our journey. That night at Bella Notte could have destroyed us. Instead, it became the catalyst for us to build something stronger. We didn't run from hard conversations. We faced them together and chose each other again and again. Sometimes I still think about paying that bill with Daniel's business card. It was a small act of rebellion, but it was also the beginning of me finding my voice in my marriage, of demanding the transparency I deserved. Daniel learned that protecting our marriage meant having difficult conversations, setting boundaries, and never taking our commitment for granted. Our marriage wasn't perfect. No marriage is, but it was ours, built on honesty, forgiveness, and the daily choice to love each other through the messy, beautiful reality of life together. And that dinner? It became a story we occasionally told friends. Always know who you're having dinner with, and never let anyone make your spouse feel invisible. Most importantly, we learned that standing up for your relationship means you value what you've built enough to protect it fiercely. And sometimes, protecting your marriage looks like a carefully placed business card and a willingness to face hard truths together.